If Iran's supreme leader Ali Khamenei were to choose to flee the country, the overall impact on China would be predominantly negative, with a large short-term shock and long-term strategic damage. China is Iran's largest hidden buyer of oil, purchasing it through third countries and shadow fleets, with payments made in Chinese yuan or at discounted prices. If Khamenei were to flee, it would mean the collapse of Iran's current regime, leading to short-term chaos in oil production. The oil trade that previously operated through gray channels would likely be cut off directly by a new government or by the United States. This would cause short-term fluctuations in China's oil prices, increasing energy security risks and costs, though it would not rise to the level of a complete supply cut crisis. In addition, China's investments and loans in Iran would be highly likely to go down the drain. China's involvement in Iran mainly includes oil and gas field development, as well as belt and road projects such as ports, railways, and power infrastructure. Once the supreme leader flees, it means all contracts would have to be renegotiated, and the new government would be very likely to tilt toward the United States. Precedents in Venezuela, Libya, and Afghanistan show that Chinese funds are often placed at the very end of the repayment or recognition queue, or even ignored outright. From a geopolitical perspective, China would once again have picked the wrong side strategically. Although China's long-term Middle East strategy appears on the surface to be neutral and non-aligned, in practice it has supported regimes in the anti-US camp. Khamenei's flight would mean that China's political counterpart in Iran would disappear. The anti-US axis stretching from Iran to Syria and then to Hezbollah in Lebanon would be broken, weakening the power China has to counterbalance the United States. Iran is one of the few major energy-producing countries willing to accept settlement in Chinese yuan. After a regime change, the new government would very likely return to the US dollar system. This would be a concrete setback to China's efforts to promote de-dollarization in energy. Finally, if Khamenei were truly to flee, China, following its usual practice, would not publicly take sides to protect him. Instead, it would quickly state that it respects the choice of the Iranian people, while privately reaching out to any new forces that might come to power, attempting to preserve a minimum level of energy and commercial channels. In reality, however, how much can be preserved would depend on whether the United States allows it.